Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes to let some more people join. All right, so today we're gonna go over everything 941. We're beyond the basics, everything that you need to know about the 941. My name is Audrianna. I'm here with Desmond.
Hi, my name is Desmond. I'm a product quality representative with Audrianna, our TaxBandits product manager,
Yes.
and we're excited to discuss all 941.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so today we're going to have a detailed look at the 941 form, who needs to file and when, handling EFTPS payments, and any updates from this quarter, and common mistakes and how to avoid them, and also provide you a helpful tax bandits cheat sheet to tackle this 941 season.
That's right. So Desmond, do you want to go over and discuss what the 941 actually is?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. So what is Form 941? The age-old question. So Form 941 is the employer's quarterly federal tax return. It's the document that employers use to report payroll taxes for their employees every 3 months or every quarter, such as Social Security, Medicare, and income taxes.
Yeah, you can basically think about it like your quarterly payroll tax report card.
Yes.
You're telling the IRS what you withheld and what you owe. It covers the Social Security, Medicare, and federal income tax.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yes.
So who needs to file it, Des?
Yeah, so usually any employer who pays wages subject to both federal income tax withholding, Social Security, or Medicare taxes are usually prompted to file this form. And that can include corporations such as C Corps, S Corps, partnerships, LLCs, even nonprofit organizations need to file. So if you're a religious organization, educational institution, hospitals, healthcare, nonprofits, or any other foreign entities will need to file this 941 form.
So basically, if you have employees and you withheld any federal tax, you're probably filing a 941.
Yes. So if you provide an employee a W-2, most likely that company would need to file that 941. So there are certain types of employers that are usually exempt from filing from 941. For example, agricultural employees. Agricultural employers. So instead of filing 941, usually they'll file the 943. Same for household employers. If you have household employees, then most likely you'll need to complete Schedule H on your 1040.
Right.
If you're an employer with less than $1,000 in your annual tax liability, then the IRS will most likely have you file a 944 instead of the 941. And if you ever acquire a larger tax liability in the future, then you might be able to file the 941 for future quarters.
Very good. Very good.
So when is the best time to file the 941? Obviously, you have to file before the deadline. And since this is a quarterly form, we have 4 deadlines throughout the year.
Right.
Quarter 1, which will cover January 1st through March 31st. That due date will be April 30th. So usually after a 3-month period, the due date is the end of that next month. So for Q2, we have April 1st through June 30th, and then that deadline for Q2 will be July 31st.
Okay, got it. So the last day of the month after the quarter ends is usually the due date.
Yeah, and if the due date falls on like a weekend or considered a national holiday, then it will go to the next business day.
Okay. So let's talk about zero reporting. I
Yeah.
know there's a big misconception that a lot of employers think that if they have no employees for the quarter, they don't need to file. Is that true or is that not true?
So that's not always true.
Okay.
Usually if you don't have zero like wages, but like the company is still running, usually the IRS will have you file that 941, but you can just submit a zero reporting. A zero reporting means that the actual 941 just has all zeros.
Mhm.
And that you're just indicating to the IRS that the company is still running, but there are just no wages
Right.
sent to employees this quarter.
So they're still expecting a return even if everything is zero.
Mhm.
And in TaxBandits, you just select a zero reporting option. It fills everything into zero. You'll review it, transmit it, and you'll be compliant with the IRS.
Yes, yes. On TaxBandits, we do have a streamlined zero reporting process. Like you said earlier,
Yeah.
you can just select the quarter, select the zero reporting option, and then you'll be able to
Ready to go.
bypass all 2 pages of the 941. All right, so let's talk about handling EFTPS payments.
Okay.
So how do you pay um, EFTPS? Sorry, how do you pay your tax liability through EFTPS?
Right.
Usually you can, if you have an account set up with EFTPS.gov, you can submit your 941 tax deposits there. However, through TaxBandits, we do offer um, a new feature for all of our business owner accounts. Essentially, you can register your EFTPS through
Mhm.
TaxBandits using the 8655 form, and we'll be able to send your payments over to the IRS for your 941
Yep.
or for your 940.
Yep. It typically takes about 24 to 48 hours, and then you can schedule and track right in the platform. So going back to the deposit schedules, you're either going to be a monthly, semi-weekly, or the next day, determined by how much you owe during the look back period, not how often you run your payroll. So do you want to talk about the tax deposits and liability?
Yes, yes. So the importance of paying your tax liability is that using the 941 form, you must reconcile your annual
Yeah.
W-2 and W-3 forms and ensuring that you have your timely payments for your quarterly reporting. Um, it must match like your end of year filings.
Yes.
And also, we have the IRS, they classify these different deposit schedules
Mhm.
based on the amount of tax liability for your company.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here we have a chart right here that explains the different deposit schedules.
Okay.
When it comes to the 941, your deposit schedule will specify when the taxes must be deposited. For monthly deposit schedules, um, usually the due date for the actual deposit itself will be the 15th of the month.
The following month.
Yeah,
Yes.
of the following month that you pay the taxable wages. Similarly, weekly depositors, meaning that you have over $50,000 or more as a tax liability.
Mhm.
Usually, it will be on that Wednesday of that week. Yeah. Oh, looks like we have some comments here. Um, we have a comment from Christine Rhodes. I filed our 941 on April 1st, but have not received a message that the IRS has accepted our 941. I typically filed later in that month following and got the acceptance from the IRS within minutes. Is this usual when filing so early? Depending on when you file, will depend on,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not uncommon to have different acceptance time
Mhm.
frames from the IRS. Sometimes it can be within minutes, sometimes it could take a few days. It just depends. And typically with the higher volume months,
Yes.
it could take a little bit longer. So it's not abnormal. But you can always contact our support team, support@taxbandits.com, and they can, take a look at your account and
Yeah.
help you with that if you're concerned about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And it says, will you be able to obtain a copy of the PowerPoint?
Yeah, so we do have a recording of this
Yeah.
presentation. This will be available on our website afterwards.
Yeah.
So if you ever need to reference this, feel free to go back to taxbandits.com, and this presentation will be ready for your review.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Just a little bit more about handling your tax deposits and like the different deposit schedules.
Mhm.
We do have a next day deposit schedule. This is usually for anyone making over $100,000.
Yep. In a single day.
Yes, in a single day.
Yep.
Very important.
Yeah.
And usually, if you're making that much in a single day, you'll need to deposit it the next day.
Yes. The next business day. That's
Mhm.
correct.
Yes. All right. Time to proceed forward.
Oh, I think we have another question.
All righty. We have a question from Suzanne Peruski. The due date for semi-weekly deposit schedule is the due date the Wednesday after the payroll or before.
So it
So
would typically be after.
yes,
I believe.
yes, it will be after that Wednesday. But feel free, if you have any additional questions regarding it, feel free to call our live support team, and we'll be able to give you a more
In depth. We can
in-depth.
dive deeper into that
Yes.
and discuss that further.
Mhm.
You can contact them.
Alrighty, so since we're heading into the new 2026 tax year for the 941, the IRS has provided some updates for this quarter. First off, the wage threshold have been updated to $184,500 for 2026, as opposed to the $176,000 from last tax year.
Yes.
And we do have a new checkbox for aggregate filers. So if you are an aggregate filer, you can notate using the new aggregate filers only section on the 941 form.
Right. So if you're filing on behalf of multiple entities under one return, that is the dedicated section
Yes.
that you would select.
And the IRS is now providing a direct deposit refund option. So if you have an overpayment, you can enter your banking details on the 941 form to receive your refund through direct deposit.
Right.
And here are some more updates for this upcoming quarter. We have the IRS is now providing qualified tips and overtime compensation withholding. So for tax years beginning after 2024 and ending before 2029, individuals such as employees or any other workers not treated as employees can deduct up to $12,500,
Wow.
$25,000 if you're married and doing joint filing
Wow.
of qualified overtime compensation on their income tax returns.
So this will affect with any withholding conversations that you're having with your employees.
Yes.
Sounds like.
Yes. Because it's going to be listed on their W-2 and then later on their 1040.
Exactly.
And then we also have the IRS is also now providing an IRS direct pay option. So essentially, you can make your federal tax deposits and balance due payments using the IRS direct pay method.
Yeah. It's a bit more streamlined, I would say. It's
Right.
an easier option to pay that liability.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about common mistakes when filing Form 941 and how to avoid them.
Yeah. So, one of the common mistakes would be line 17, a final return checkbox. So you'll only check this if you're permanently done paying wages. Don't check it for a slow quarter or temporary pause, or the IRS will think that you're closed. That has been a big one that a lot of people have been caught up and stuck on.
Especially when employers are filing zero reporting forms, they'll call into our support. Like, do I need to select this option on line 17? None of these options really apply to me.
Right.
But only if the business is permanently closed, like you said, or it's been sold or transferred, then that's when you'll need to check line 17. Another common mistake or common trend is that sometimes employers just miss or forget to include their line 13 deposits.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. It
Mhm.
happens a lot.
Yep. And at the end, they'll see that they owe a balance due and they're like, oh, I already paid this. Then
Mhm.
usually they're missing that line 13 deposit. So
Yeah.
make sure that you're entering all of your tax liability and your line 13 deposits on your 941 form.
Yes.
And we also have a little pop-up on TaxBandits that kind of lets you know, like, hey, you're kind of missing your line 13 deposits.
Mhm.
Are you willing to proceed? But yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So just keep your deposit records handy before you file. So you have
Yes,
everything you've paid, and when you're filling out that 941, you're ready to go and you're not missing anything.
exactly. Also, incorrect tax deposit reporting can be an issue,
Mhm.
especially for our 941 filers. They'll look at the Schedule B and enter their tax deposits instead
Yes.
of just your tax liability.
Mhm.
Remember, if you're filing a 941 with the Schedule B attachment, just make sure you're listing only your tax liability
Yeah.
throughout the quarter on the Schedule B.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another issue is like not fully understanding the difference between deposit schedule and pay frequency.
Exactly. So just because you run payroll weekly doesn't mean you deposit weekly.
Right, right. Yeah, and here are some additional tips. We kind of touch on these common mistakes and how to assure them, but just to make sure, incorrectly checking line 17, just making sure that you understand that line 17 is considering the current status of your business in relation to you stop paying wages to your employees.
Right.
And also,
And
yes,
typically with the when you're checking line 17, you will have to declare who will be keeping the final record. So once you
yes,
select that box, it'll initiate the record keeping, who will hold the record keeping for that.
right.
So it looks like somebody's asking about 17, option 17 or line 17.
Yeah,
Patricia,
yeah,
Austin.
Patricia. Yes. So Patricia asks, option 17 applies to me. A statement of recording practice is required.
Yeah.
Can I attach this form in TaxBandits? So you wouldn't be able to attach that specific form. However, we do have an option where you can enter the explanation as to why the business is closing, sold, or transferred.
And that will work the same way
Yeah.
for the attachment. It sounds like it'll work the same way to the attachment you're trying to do.
Yeah. So you'll be able to notate or like let the IRS know why, or essentially your specific business status.
The record keeping practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Claudius Martinez, if business closing this May, do I have to file any additional forms or just line 17? I would, if you're not going to be paying wages anymore, then and you're closing the business altogether, then yeah, you'll select line 17, file your final 941. As far as any additional forms that you would need to file, we can't per se answer that. But if regarding the 941, that would be the last step.
Yes.
But speak to your tax professional, your tax analyst to give you some more insight on any other forms that you might need to file.
Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. And sometimes making mistakes, sometimes
It happens.
receiving, yeah, it happens. It happens to the best of us. We're all human. Sometimes receiving a notice or penalty is kind of inevitable. One of the more common notices associated with Form 941 is the CP 259 notice. What exactly is a CP 259 notice? It's just the IRS. It's just a notice from the IRS letting you know that your business has no record of the submitted tax return. In this case,
By
the
the
941.
deadline. Exactly.
Yes. How can TaxBandits help assist with your tax notices? Well, we do have a new notice manager. So essentially, you can upload any of our supported tax notices into this notice manager. It will extract the details from your notice and provide you the next steps.
Right.
Because sometimes receiving notices can be a little scary.
It
Like,
is.
what do I do? So with TaxBandits, we kind of streamline that process and just provided you some type of direction on how to properly address your tax notice moving forward. Yeah, if you want to see a full list of our supported tax notices or the supported IRS tax notices, you can visit our website, taxbandits.com, for the full list.
That's right.
And yes, and also sometimes filing Form 941 can be a little scary sometimes. Filing taxes can be a little scary. But with our partner, Protection Plus, TaxBandits extends our support beyond just the filing and the acceptance for your 941 and your 940 forms.
Right.
So if you do receive an IRS audit or a penalty notice or post-filing inquiries, our partner Protection Plus and us will stand by you just to help you resolve this issue.
Yes. So in all 941 forms that are filed for this quarter and beyond will be covered and protected by Protection Plus. So if you do receive, if you receive any notices from the IRS beyond the acceptance of your form, you will be able to correspond with Protection Plus, and they'll help you through that process of figuring out, what you need to do, and they'll actually handle that for you.
Yes. So what Protection Plus provides for your 941 filings, like Audrianna just said, you are protected after the initial acceptance. You're protected for up to 3 years after the initial IRS acceptance date, and they can provide expert guidance on IRS notices and provide resolution services as well, just to help tackle any fines, notices, possible penalties that you might have received from your 941 filing. All right, so here's our TaxBandits cheat sheet full of common issues that you may experience when filing the 941 form and how our solution best tackles those issues. For instance, we have missing or incorrect information, such as like a missing EIN or an incorrectly inputted EIN or business name. We have built-in error checks, and we have a built-in audit to help catch the specific errors throughout the form. We base it off of the IRS business validation and the IRS's business rules, just to ensure that you are in full compliance for your 941 filing.
Right. And then there will always be final checkpoints before you, hit that final submit button to the IRS. So you will have many opportunities to review your data along with the internal audit checks. But there will be many final checkpoints for you to make sure that everything is accurate.
Yeah, although we can't say the tax amounts that you enter are correct or accurate. However, we can base it off of the business schema just to make sure that it falls into the correct parameters or the correct formula from the IRS.
Yes, it's all built in to the software itself, so it will help you along the way catch these things.
Yes. Another common pain point that many 941 filers have experienced before is that uploading data can take a little too long, especially if you're filing on behalf of multiple businesses. For my CPAs out there, yes, we do have different features to help streamline this process, such as our bulk upload. You can bulk upload for multiple 941s at a time. A copy return option. So essentially, if you have a previously accepted 941 from the previous quarter and there's not much changes from Q4 to Q1, essentially you can just copy that return and just file it. And also we do have our easy zero reporting feature that we
Yep.
mentioned before.
Right, exactly. And do you know the formats that we support for bulk uploading?
Yes. So for our bulk upload for the 941, we do support any spreadsheets in CSV, which is also known as the comma separated values. So
Right.
if you have Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, you'll be able to download our
Right.
template, complete it, and then download it as a CSV file and upload it into TaxBandits.
Yep.
Looks like we have.
Let's look at some of these questions.
Yes.
Go up.
Alrighty. It looks like Vicky Gonzalez as is the Protection Plus an additional fee. So with the Protection Plus service, that is included within your 941 filing fee. So it's already included. So once you pay for your 941 filing, it's automatically protected under Protection Plus.
Anything else?
Alrighty, Marjorie Spencer Russell asks, if I am an employee submitting the 941 for my employer, would I need any special authorization to submit the return in TaxBandits? So essentially, when you start the 941 form, we do have a pop-up that says, are you authorized to file on behalf of this employer? Just make sure that the employer that you're filing for is aware that you are filing this 941 on behalf of them. And then depending on if you are a CPA and your certifications, we do have many signature forms that will help you essentially authorize the 941 filing in itself, such as the 8453 EMP, the 8879 EMP if you're ERO. If you're a reporting agent, you can use your reporting agent PIN to submit your 941 filing as well.
Right. So the authorization point, Marjorie, that you're asking about, it'll just look like a checkbox. And like to Desmond's point when he mentioned when you first begin the form, there'll be some type of pop-up that's asking if you're authorized to file on behalf of the business. So you'll simply just check that box, assuming your employer is aware that you're filing. But it's simple as that.
Yes.
So.
Alrighty. And then common issues receiving an IRS notice, as we mentioned before, with Protection Plus and our notice manager, you are fully equipped to handle any 941 related notices or any other notices that you may receive from the IRS. And then with our partner Protection Plus, you can be fully assured that your 941 filing is protected.
Right. So we want to make sure that you have that peace of mind during the filing, after the filing, and then beyond that with Protection Plus.
The whole life cycle of the 941.
Right.
And if you have any uncertainty about any filing requirements, again, we have a comprehensive support team. We have a live support team, email support team that can assist you and provide some guidance regarding your 941 filing.
Yeah, they're a very good team.
Yes.
Just reach out to them by the support contact number or the email.
Yes.
And they're really responsive. They'll get back to you.
And also, here are some additional helpful tips for filing Form 941. We also touch a little bit on some of these tips, but it's always good to have these tips by your side for your reference.
Right.
First off, verifying your EIN and your business structure, making sure the EIN is properly listed, and that if you are a C Corp, that you're filing your 941 as a C Corp.
Right.
And Also, ensure accurate reporting of your tax amounts, making sure that your payroll records and your W-2 forms matches your cumulative totals on your 941
Right.
filing.
Exactly.
And then also confirm your filing history. Make sure, check if you have a CPA, check with them,
Yeah.
or like a payroll provider. Check with them just to ensure that they are taking care of the 941 filing before you submit yours.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because sometimes, employers don't always realize that their CPA has already filed for them, and their 941 gets rejected as a duplicate. So just making sure that you are properly aligned if you have a CPA or a payroll provider.
Yeah.
And then also, so very important, pay attention to the deadlines.
Yeah.
Like these deadlines will sneak up on you sometimes. So make sure you mark a calendar. With TaxBandits, we provide multiple notifications, reminders, just to make sure that you have the best chance on filing your 941 form before the deadline.
Yeah, we know 3 months can fly by.
I'm telling you.
It feels like you just filed your quarter one.
Yes. So. Yeah, so just make sure you pay attention to these deadlines. Yeah. Alrighty, so it's time for our Q&A portion. I know we've answered some questions throughout the webinar, but if you have any additional questions, we're going to take some time to read some out.
Yep. We'll give a minute to, let the questions come in, and we can also cover some, maybe there's some in there that we didn't get to during it.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so we have this question from Connie Hunt. What is the difference between tax liability and tax deposit? So your tax liability is any withholdings that you've owed throughout the quarter. So,
so the liability is what the IRS is expecting from you. It is what you're liable for. It is what they are going to look for. The deposits are what you're actually paying.
Yes.
And again, that could be the different frequencies depending on whether you're, the amounts of the deposits, and it could be monthly, semi-weekly, or the next day depositor.
Yes. And your tax liability can be found on line 12 or 941, while your tax deposits can be listed on line 13.
Yeah. Okay. If a payment, I see one from Patricia. If a payment was made and you selected the wrong quarter and called the IRS to correct and apply to correct quarter, would this amount have to be on line 13? So it sounds like, let's see. If you selected the wrong quarter. So it sounds like you selected the wrong quarter, and so you already paid that amount. That's what it sounds like when just reading this.
Agreed.
Again, you can contact our support team so you can dive into that question. But I would say you can either you can select to apply it to your next quarter, or the line 13 would be the deposits you already made. So that does sound like that could be an option. But again, contact support team. We'll dive into that. And get you the answers you need.
Yeah, usually if there's like any discrepancies with line 13, usually you can't correct it on a 941X, which is the correction or like the amendment form for the 941. However, what Audrianna said, just you can always apply to the next quarter, or you can contact the IRS for specific instructions, and they can better guide you on how to properly reconcile that line 13 error.
Right. All right. What else do we have?
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so from Sonic Research, if my tax liability for the quarter is less than $2,500, do I need to make a monthly payment, or can I make one payment at the end of the quarter?
Right.
Usually, if your tax liability for the quarter is less than $2,500, then usually you will just need to make that payment.
It's typically the monthly
Yes.
deposit or schedule.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, Karen asks, can we upload directly from QuickBooks? So currently, TaxBandits does not have a 941 integration with QuickBooks
Right.
at this time, but we do have a QuickBooks integration for 1099 filing, but not currently for the 941. But we do have multiple easy upload options, like the bulk upload.
Right. So if the payroll information and the recipient information is stored in your QuickBooks account, then you can upload that information to TaxBandits via bulk upload.
Yeah.
And then, from there you can turn that into the 941 in TaxBandits, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So if you have all your accounting information, their names, their EINs, their address, that information, you can upload that to TaxBandits.
Alrighty, so it looks like that's all the questions that we have for today. If you have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call. Contact our support team at 704-684-4751, or you can email us at support@taxbandits.com, and our team will be more than happy to provide you any clarification or any additional resources for your questions.
Right. So if we didn't get to any of the questions in the chat, you can forward them to support@taxbandits.com, and the phone number, you can contact them with these questions. They'll be happy to help you.
Of course. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed our webinar about the 941, and hopefully we provided some clarification or some additional information regarding your 941 filing.
Yep. And don't forget to file your 941 for this month. It's due.
Don't forget.
Yeah. On the 30th, April 30th.
So hop on over to TaxBandits.